Hey everybody, Stuart Macadam here, and today I'm going to be answering 100 of your digital marketing questions. Now, I've got a little checklist in front of me to make sure that I actually answer 100, and if I skip over any questions, then that doesn't count. So let's get into it. First question is, what are 5 things that you enjoy about your job as a digital marketer? Well, that's a very good question. I enjoy working with great companies. I enjoy looking for ways to create better business for people through higher engagement and conversions. I enjoy the technical side, interpreting data. I enjoy having flexibility with my work schedule, and I also enjoy the interaction that you have with the clients as well. And if it's sort of good interaction, then it's great for sort of your brand perspective. If it's challenging interaction, it's good growth because it challenges you to come up with new and creative ways to better market their business. So that's number one. Second question is, I run a very small pizza chain on the outskirts of Houston, and our current customer feedback is very positive. Now we just want to find the pizza eaters in our area. Is there any way for us to get a scope of our local demographic? There definitely is. I would get very active on your social media page and target anybody within a 10 to 15 mile radius of your area, and maybe have a competition of some kind and try and gauge, or even just run a poll and see what type of people respond to that within that area, and then match it against the population, and you should get a reasonably good idea of what you're looking at as far as audience size and scope. Third question is to reshare my colleague's post or write a new one on LinkedIn. Write a new one on LinkedIn. It's good for your branding, and it's good as an authority in your respective area. Opinions needed on Ghost or Substack as alternatives to MailChimp. Pass. Is Bitly good with Facebook, shortening links for Facebook ads? Yes, it can be useful, especially if you've got particular platforms that you want to send customers to. So definitely. I have a BA in business administration and love JavaScript and marketing. How can I combine it all? That's a good question. You probably would want to look at taking on a role that involves account management level work with a bit of like technical implementation for your clients. So you could either have that as a role which you create yourself as a freelancer, or you could go to a marketing agency and showcase your expertise and see how that could possibly fit into a role within a company. Right, so up to question 6. Very good questions so far, everybody, so keep them coming. Next question is about how did Amazon become so successful? Well, that's quite an interesting one. If you look at the classic model of marketing, it's the sales funnel. And with companies like Amazon, they've got what you would call the flywheel model, and Microsoft used it as well in their growth expansion phrase. And that's basically where you've got, rather than something from the start to the bottom, you've got like a revolving wheel type of effect where someone purchases their product and the product is processed and then sent, and the person likes the product or wants to leave a review on the product, leaves feedback, and that feedback goes through and their friends can see the feedback and the website it's on. And they can tell their friends where they bought the product, and then those friends go onto Amazon and browse and look at the product themselves and buy it, and it keeps on cycling over and over and over again. So rather than having a one-time value customer, you've got somebody that is consistently coming into the funnel and the cycle, and it's creating infinitely greater value every time a new person is joining the platform. So I'd highly recommend you have a look at, there's a guy called Sam Ovens Consulting Accelerate, the consulting.com guy, talks about that quite extensively in this video here. And he's probably one of the best guys out there because his business is trying to create something similar at the moment. So I've just included the YouTube video and the link there. So go and have a watch of that when you get the chance, because it's very, very useful. Okay. Next question is, what are positions in marketing that do not have the word marketing in the title? Account manager. That goes pretty broadly. Facebook ad specialist, LinkedIn ad specialist, graphic designer, web developer. Like you may think that that's not marketing. It's sort of web developer in particular plays a very important role in any business's success in the online sphere. So you definitely don't want to ever be mistaken for just thinking a web developer sort of works in numbers all day. Sort of how they design and set up the website is very influential in how successful that business is going to be in converting leads with their website. Facebook pixel help. My pixel doesn't track every page. How can I correct this? Look, that's a very, very good question. And the answer to that is you have to set up your parameters in your events manager so you're able to track the desired pages. And, like go and inspect the plugin that you're using for the Facebook pixel, because perhaps it's something that might be related to the internal pages on the website, which may not be visible to the public. So just be mindful of that. So up to 7 questions, answered 7 questions so far, up to number 8. So keep them coming, guys. Very, very good questions so far. So next one is, any pro tips on Facebook ads? Yes, make sure that you are running 3 different ads at one time, each with a unique ad copy, each with a unique image, and each at a different target audience. So effectively you got like 9 different ways of reaching your target audience, rather than just having one ad, one photo, and one piece of ad copy and one target audience. Next question is, how do I further engage already engaged users? The best way to do that is to become more interactive with those people and target them specifically. So if you're on, say, Facebook or Instagram, for example, and people already like your page or are following your page, maybe you run a poll and see what people's interest is in particular products you may have or particular areas of concern, or particular gain points which they can make from using your product or service, and start looking at targeting them frequently with engaged posts. Should I start my own blog is the next question, and the answer to that is, if you've got a website, a business online, then definitely you do, because it allows you to start ranking for particular keywords in SEO, and you're also able to develop a bit of a stronger brand presence and showcase your knowledge a lot more with the wider world. And it'll help you start ranking for keywords which your business might be interested in ranking for, and perhaps even keywords which you may not have dreamed up yet, but your custom target market has. Next question is, what's a good email series for a new expensive product being sold to existing customers? That's really good. And just to give you some perspective here, that's on new solar panels from people that have already got basic solar panels and maybe want to be upsold. The best way you can start on that one is by developing an awareness about what solution the product solves. So having one to three emails that start addressing that problem, and then slowly weaving down into here's a look at our newest product offering, and then perhaps having one or two videos that showcase these new solar panels and really talk about why they are a good long-term investment for the person. Maybe it's the panel's ability to absorb more light quicker, or larger quantities of light, or it's, it can be positioned in more places. It doesn't just need to be in the most sun-friendly area. And then you could talk sort of towards the bottom, special limited time offer. Get in today for, say, discount, and make sure it's priced at a level where it is enticing and compelling enough for people to want to book a strategy call, or to, get a free inspection and quote. Next question is, how do I work freelance as a recent graduate in marketing? And just to give you some details, hello marketers, since I left my job, I'm trying to learn more about digital marketing, but I find it hard to follow a routine without having a job and need the money. Thus, I thought about working freelance. My question is, how can I create value as a beginner in marketing? Freelance jobs, what jobs should I seek? Where can I apply to get freelance jobs? What websites should I use? Do you have any advice to give me? Thank you for your time. Okay, I'll answer your top one first. How to work as a recent graduate in marketing. Start by choosing an area that you want to specialize in the most. It could be web development, writing content, sort of the technical side of Facebook ads. It could be videos for companies. There's a whole range of options that you've got available. Best way to create value is to really just give them an ROI that's greater than their investment into you. What jobs should I seek? Start with small jobs that are able to slowly be scaled up to larger roles. So it could be something as simple as an initial sort of email setup for, and it could be something that you could YouTube or just find online on a step-by-step walkthrough on how to do that thing. And, the client just doesn't have time. And that could eventually build up into something bigger that could be even more exciting. As far as where you can apply to get freelance jobs, there's platforms like Upwork, there's Fiverr, there's freelancer.com. There are also a huge amount of local and international job platforms too that are sort of catered to freelancers. So you're definitely quite fortunate to have some good options. Okay. Next question is, how do you time your strategies, tactics, and campaigns in marketing? The most important thing with, I'm speaking purely from a Facebook ads perspective here, nothing else. But from a Facebook ads perspective, the best thing you can do is to be patient, let your ads run for at least a couple of days, make sure that It's always being reviewed at the end of every week to make sure it is economical and effective. Don't try and interrupt the algorithm when it's doing its thing. That's why you need to sort of give it at least a week. Have a variety of different CTA buttons, different creatives, match videos and carousels, and sort of just single image ads and trial them all out. Okay, next question is, should I give up and sell or close my business? I'm going to pass on that because I don't know the person well enough, so I can't make I can't provide valuable input for that person. Okay, next question is, do you feel that utilizing an automated system sometimes detracts from the quality of your overall products or services? Yes, because sometimes automated systems and processes can be forgotten about, aren't reviewed frequently and consistently, aren't checked for conversion, and can sometimes be left in the dark. So it's definitely something that is valuable, and I think a lot of people are very grateful to be able to automate in the way that they do, because as little as 20 years ago, it would have been a very hard thing to do with the technology available. But it's just something that needs to be checked up on regularly and consistently. How much would you charge if you were an influencer with 100,000 followers and a 5.6% engagement rate? That all depends on how much, first off, where your followers are. Secondly, what their click-through rate is going to be for those people who engage with the post. So say, for example, you are selling, and also just the value of the product. So say you're selling t-shirts, and I would say maybe $200 would be pretty good. Pretty good value for the client. If you're wanting to really stretch yourself and you want to sell something higher end, and people are going to engage with you to a point where it's sustainable, I would say you could probably charge maybe 9 or 10 times that, so $1,800 to $2,000 per post. But you want to make sure that you're actually providing great value, because if you're quoting someone on that, then you don't want to have a situation where people aren't, or clients aren't feeling like they're getting their return on investment justified, because otherwise you'll lose them. Next question, does anyone actually read their emails, considering that 99% of it is literally spam? You'd be amazed at how powerful email marketing still is, even when you consider that a lot of people won't always open the email the first time, unless they're intentionally wanting to get something from you that's of value. And to give you one example, if you've got an email list of 10,000 people and 20% open, that's 2,000 people that you're reaching each and every week. And that is very important because it allows you to connect with a wide group of people. that you may not have been able to reach on social media platforms, on Google searches or anything else, because they might not be using any of those platforms. Unlikely, but definitely possible. Next question is, how much content needs to be ready at the time of a deal if one company is borrowing content from another company? I'm going to pass on that one. How often do you need to update content on the website to be in the top positions? You're looking at between 1 and 3 times a week at a minimum. If you're really wanting to go for it, if you can produce 5 to 10 high quality content sort of offers, whether that's blog posts or etc., videos, then you're going to be in a really strong position to rank well. Next question, can we send one message to all LinkedIn connections at a time? Yes, you can, and it's very good if you do that when you first reach out and connect with people, which is, I think, shows up as a note. And it's helpful as well for building some rapport between each other. Okay. Good questions so far, everybody. Thanks so much for asking these. So how to start a marketing plan / strategy consultation company? Good question. Identify what you're going to include in that marketing plan. I'd recommend you be as comprehensive as possible. Maybe look at what other people are doing at the moment and plan it out from start to finish. Identify the possible objections, pain points, gain points, budget, tactics. Look at company history, past performance, what they could possibly do to improve future performance, and look at how you can be the most involved in an effective way. Next question, what is a business book that you're reading at the moment? I am going to show you right now what that book is. It is The First 90 Days, and it's by a guy called Michael Watkins. And he's basically talking about how influential you can be in a company by coming in, say, to an entirely new organization in the first 90 days, or as somebody who has already been at the company for a while and is moving into a more managerial type of role. So it's been very intriguing to read just the sort of value and how for the more time that you're spending on learning and acquiring knowledge within the new role, the more you're actually costing a company. So that might be why, if you are actually preparing to go into one of those roles and you are doing the extra outside work beyond the initial scope of what's required, you can go a lot further. Okay. Next question comes from Andy. How much do social media marketers really earn? Well, how much do you earn? No, look, my earnings vary. It just depends on how many hours I've got available in the week. If I'm working full-time hours, I can make up to $3,000 a week. But I usually try and have it at a point where it's not that sort of full on, because you sort of need to have a bit of a work and life balance. You can't just be working all the time, because it's not good for your mental health. But if you're looking at people that are running companies as social media marketers, the good ones are normally earning anywhere from $10,000 to $50,000 a month, and they might have a team of people. They might just do it themselves and charge companies larger retainer fees. And as long as they're producing results for those companies, then that's all that ultimately matters. Looking for guidance to start a social media marketing, branding, social media management company. What should I do? Good question. The first thing you want to do is look at what social media platform you want to become an expert in. There's a lot of different platforms and there's a lot of competition out there, and identify which part of that platform you want to specialize in the most, and look at how a lot of companies that are performing really well on those platforms are branding, and what you can do to add the most value in terms of managing it, a client's ad performance, or perhaps even all of their content as well. And my suggestion on that is to have an onboarding template that you can give to the client for them to complete, and that'll help give you the framework that you need to really create their value offers, their ads, their content, and so on. So next question is, should I start learning API? If you're somebody who is working in Facebook ads or email integration, then the answer is yes. That's one of the things on my to-do list at the moment, and I'm very glad that it's right up there, because it's very important, especially for integrating a lot of platforms together, and it gives you quite a solid understanding of how things work. And just sort of looking at it's a sort of just it's like it's an interfacing tool, really. So if you know how to use it, then you're just giving yourself a massive advantage, and that can only be a good thing for you. Okay, next question. If you're in charge of content marketing for your company, what are your biggest challenges? Making sure that the content speaks to your target audience is one. Making sure that it's valuable enough for them to want to keep reading, but not too long until you lose their attention, and that it has cool creatives. What are some of the best lead and low budget lead generation tactics for small to medium business? That was asked by Olga. Good question, Olga. In terms of low budget, organic LinkedIn outreach. So looking at who your target market is, and you can use the LinkedIn filters to effectively narrow down to exactly who you want to reach out to in the area that you want to reach them in, and you can go for that. If you put in about an hour a day and do that for a month, you should be able to build up a LinkedIn database of close to 1,000 people, which will give you some fantastic leverage. You could create a Facebook group and invite your family and friends and wider network to come and join that group, and encourage them to invite their friends. And you can also run Facebook lead generation ads. That is been well established as a very good way to build and grow your business up to a level in which you can start to really engage people, and you can also reach out to them quickly as well, because it removes a lot of requirements to jump from page one website to a landing page to a form to a completion. Next question is, How do I make money without paying any money? You'd probably want to rephrase that, Mantis, and ask yourself, how can I best invest in myself? And I would say, in order to be economical in that way, you could perhaps look at learning things through YouTube videos, through website content. You could buy some low-cost training courses of digital marketing on platforms like Udemy, and also I forget some of the other platforms' names, but just go and Google it. Udemy would probably be one of the most prominent ones, and that can really give you a bit of a head start that you need to get yourself going. Okay, so we're up to 25 questions so far. So thanks so much for your answers, your questions, everybody. It's been quite fun answering all of them. So just do keep them coming if you've got any. Next question is, how do I monetize my website? Good question. Look at becoming an affiliate marketer. So include links to big platforms. So if you're working in digital marketing, you could team up with a platform like HubSpot, MailChimp, Hootsuite. There's a wide range of different people that will pay you for a conversion. So definitely look into that. Next question is from, he calls himself U-Man, and he asks, what are the best marketing textbooks available for someone whose English is second language? Good, very, very good question. There's a gentleman by the name of Philip Kotler who wrote Marketing 4.0, and I remember reading that book. I believe it was an earlier version of his that I read, and it's stuck in my mind ever since. Out of all the university textbooks I read, it's one of the few that I actually remember as being a very authoritative source of information and very, very useful. Another good person that you can read, whose textbook was quite helpful, was Gruel Marketing. The textbook's pretty expensive. It's about $115 here in New Zealand, probably, which is about 75, 80 US dollars. And it just sort of, is focused on experiential learning and value that marketing people create. So those would be my two recommendations. There's plenty more, I'm sure. Okay, see, there's a comment. Stuart Gold, one of the smartest guys on the planet. This dude. Thank you, Stuart. Very kind of you to say that. If anybody is looking to get up to date with Stuart's videos, I cannot recommend him enough. He's got one of the best YouTube channels, and it's not ashamed to say I'm a pretty avid watcher of his videos as well. So I'm going to include his video or his YouTube channel link in the live comments section. There it is right there. So to our person who's watching, you can do check out Stuart when you get a chance. He's a very good digital marketer. Okay, so that's 28 questions answered so far. I've got on to 29. So I want to learn about budgeting ads, or started a small online business and want to learn about budgeting ads. So by this he means started a small private label brand with Amazon, wants to learn more about marketing and cost per clicks on Facebook and Amazon. He's just doing some research before he's starting. Look, that's very good. Like, have a look mainly at what your margin is and what the likely cost per acquisition is going to be in order to convert somebody. So you want to identify, probably see how much of a market demand there is for the product that you're wanting to sell, and see if it's best suited to Facebook or Amazon, because sometimes you find that there are more clear winners on Amazon, whereas for other people, Facebook is a better match. Okay, next question is, how do I teach potential users about a new way of doing something on social media? That's a good question. First thing is to get an understanding of how much they know, what their knowledge gaps are, and then look at how you can communicate how to use the platform in a way that that person is going to understand it. Now, that may take a bit of time. It may take a couple of questions being asked, but after a while, you should get there. Next question is, if you only had one form of organic outreach marketing that you could do, what would it be? That would be LinkedIn outreach. Next question is, if you could reach people with only one form of paid advertising, what would it be? Facebook lead generation ads. They right now seem to be a very proven method from the experiences that I've had in terms of reaching and converting people that are interested in client products. Hey Stuart, been following your channel for a while. Are you proficient at graphic design work? No, that is not something that I'm proficient in at all. Not because I don't want to be, but just because everybody's got different gifts and talents when it comes to marketing, and mine just doesn't happen to be graphic design. So if I ever need help with that, I get my fiance Hannah, for example. She does all the thumbnails for my YouTube channel, or I'll go out and hire a graphic designer. Got a friend called Samantha who's a graphic designer that assists me with that too. Or if I need something sort of a bit higher end, I'll go and hire out a professional for however many hours the project needs. What's one advertising commercial that you remember clearly? I was actually talking about this with some friends last night. There's an old Chupa Chups ad where there's this tongue that's at the top of looks like the Empire State Building, and it's going all the way down and zooming around town in a desperate bid to go and get a Chupa Chups before the lollipop stand closes. And you can see the tongue racing around, and then it gets the Chupa Chups, and then it rewinds back, and then at the end you see it's actually this guy's tongue that is stuck out all the way downtown to go and get that lollipop. So that to me is just something that sort of kind of just really sticks out in the mind as quite a clever and creative ad that it just stays in your mind very clearly. Next question. Tesla has spent nearly nothing on marketing, right? Is it a phenomena for a company to be so valuable and successful using the strategy? Any other examples? Well, that's not necessarily true, because they did launch a car into space recently. And that would take quite a bit of money, even if you are hiring other people to go and do that. You'd need quite a bit of financial investment and backing in order to make that a reality. So that's plus as well. You need to remember that when Tesla wasn't, it didn't become as prominent as it did until Elon Musk got heavily involved in the company's operations. And he'd already established a very good track record and reputation as an entrepreneur. And that enabled him to leverage his brand power as an entrepreneur to go and build it out very successfully. Okay, next question. Thanks very much for your questions, everybody. It's much appreciated. Google Ads. Are Google Ads still worth it? So they are in, what field are they in? Online courses. Yes. If you can identify quickly what your best area is, or sort of your best sort of keywords or search phrases are with Google Ads, I would say to narrow very specifically onto those keywords with your Google Ads campaign, and then focus any other efforts for other keywords and phrases and stuff that you want to try and get engagement or sort of leads with on other platforms. Here's a very good question. What changes in consumer behavior have you observed in your companies during this pandemic? How are you responding to this change? I'm noticing people are spending a lot more time online, more so than they ever did before, probably because a lot of people are working from home and they're not having to sit in traffic as much. They are not being distracted maybe by coworkers, or maybe they're distracting themselves more at home by going online and doing online shopping. So that's something which is moving a lot more prominently, and people are shopping more online because they aren't allowed to go to as many stores. And that's why you see just the other day, Jeff Bezos' valuation is rocketing up by more than $1 billion a day because companies like Amazon, which are continuing to operate, are able to provide that, a very timely solution to a very unfortunate situation. Next question is, what do you consider to be a good email engagement rate? Click open rate above 40%, click-through rate above 10%. Do you use email marketing in your business? Yes, I do. Not as much as I would like to, but yes, it is part of my marketing plan, and I have gotten business from it. Next question is, what is one underestimated digital marketing tactic that people, or strategy that people should be thinking about adopting? You know what? I would probably say it's Google My Business. So anybody that wants to maybe look and see how they could lift their marketing performance, see how you go and set up a Google My Business account and start trying to collect ratings and rankings from people who are your clients, because it might give you the boost that you need to go to the next level. What is the best keyword research tool for SEO in 2019? I'd use two. I'd say one would be SEMrush, one would be Google Keyword Planner. Excuse me. Next question is, How would you split test a landing page? Good question. I would have one landing page with multiple call to action buttons, one with a limited amount, another one would be one that has a welcome photo, one that has a welcome video, and see how that goes. Next question is, how do I grow my channel to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube? Well, I'm not even on 100 yet, so I'm probably not the right person to be giving advice on this, but all I could probably say is make sure that your sound is good, your video quality is sharp and crisp, that the editing is reasonably well done, and that you use some of the video editing design tools that are free to use. If you're on like a Mac, there's a couple of great ones that are already on there. If you're on a laptop, look, just go and do some Googling, have a look on different sites and see what's available. There's always like the freebie options that you can use, and it might just be what your channel needs to get up to the next level. And oh yeah, don't forget to have a good thumbnail as well. Next question is, what do you consider to be a successful marketing business? A business that you can successfully scale and grow with predictability. Next question is, how do you reach your Facebook audience on Twitter? You connect the two platforms. There's a way of doing that in the settings on your Facebook page. If you've got a group, then you're facing a bit of a challenge. So look to do it with your page, connect them up, and you can cross-post at your convenience. This one is, what are the most important failures that you've had? Right. The biggest failure I made was when I first went out on my own, was relying too much on one client. So more than 50% of my monthly income was from one client. So that, I would say, was my first mistake. So I've now got it to a point where my biggest client is no more than 30% of my income, so that even if, say, two of them were to leave, which would be, I would lose half my income, which would not be desirable, but wouldn't be crippling. So that would probably be the biggest failure that I initially had, that I learned a big lesson from. Next question is, what are the social media metrics you should track? Cost per acquisition, click-through rate, impressions, cost per lead, and social proofs, so like likes and shares. Because if you've got all of those things working in your favor, you're going to do all right. What is the best Facebook ad spy tool? There's one called Adplexity that is pretty good, and they are a spy tool that sort of provides audit intelligence. So go and check them out. I'll see if I'll actually just put the link into the let's find it right now. Adplexity. Here we go. So there's the link right here. So if you find this useful, definitely go to give them a look. If you're looking for something like that, it might be useful. So we are up to on to question 50. Oi, about halfway there now. Excellent. Need ideas for converting warm web design leads. Right. So most important thing is make sure that your form can be used to screen out quality leads versus junky leads, because if you're just getting junky leads, then you probably need to revise how you're communicating the value of your product with people. Second thing that you want to do is identify with them straight off the bat what you're trying to achieve with them when you call them, and make sure that you're very clear about the parameters of your offer. Okay, next question. Who are 3 businessmen and or women that you've taken inspiration from? Well, it's a range of different people. Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, Sarah Blackley from Spanx, Carlos Slim. He's actually proposed a very good idea for the like a 3-day work week, which I found very interesting. Mark Cuban, and there's a couple of local New Zealanders as well that found quite interesting. One guy that not so many people know about outside of New Zealand is someone called Craig Heatley. He's pretty much brought satellite TV to New Zealand, so he's quite an interesting person, and sort of reading through his business journey has been quite fascinating. And if you're somebody who is Australian based, there is a fantastic Australian entrepreneur that not many people know about, or at least I don't think not many people know about her, is Katie Page, who is the CEO of Harvey Norman. Now, her name's not very prominent outside of Australia, and I've mentioned her name to people a couple of times, and they've said, "Oh, who's it?" And I said, "Well, she's the CEO of Harvey Norman, and they are quite a prominent company, and to have survived for as long as they have under, like, especially her guidance and leadership, it's quite inspiring, and I find her to be a very good or savvy businesswoman, and especially in how she's led the company since taking over. Like one example, because it was like, where is it? It was her like her sponsor. Some of the things that she's gotten to sponsor as well has really sort of helped the brand take off in a way that I don't think it would have if it hadn't been done. So definitely somebody to have a look up and research into. Okay. Next question is, what is the best campaign strategy to grow my Facebook photography page? Good question. Facebook lead generation ads, have 3 of them, 3 target audiences, 3 different creatives, and have 1 set of remarketing ads that follow up with those people that have looked at your offer but haven't converted. How do marketers track users across different channels? Most popular platform for that is Google Analytics, but some people use the HubSpot marketing software. Other people use SEMrush. It really just depends on what your preference is for that. Lead generation outsourcing, good or bad? If it's a very valuable client of yours, I would say to get that, whoever you're outsourcing it to, put them on a test run on your own business and make sure that they are genuinely good, because you don't want to get something like that wrong, because it can be very costly. So make sure that you're looking very carefully on those things, at their ability to provide important measuring metrics, and also able to just really get you some good results. Next question that we've got here is, what are the best Facebook ad management services in 2020? I manage all of the ads personally. I don't use any I misread the question there, sorry. Services in 2020. Content management, lead generation, and branding would be the three biggest ones. And next question. Thanks so much as well, guys, for the questions. Like it's really been it's been a bit challenging. I'm not used to sitting down like this for almost an hour answering questions, but it's very helpful, and it's also quite a nice challenge. So thank you very much for everybody who's tuned in so far. And I see we've still got one person online watching. So thank you very much. I hope you're finding this valuable and useful in your business journey. Advice for a young leader. I'm a senior in college. I got a marketing internship at a building materials hardware company. Due to the old-fashioned nature of the company, they were just starting to implement more modern marketing practices. Recently, my boss moved away, so I'm now the manager of the department as a college senior. Congratulations, first and foremost, on that. That's awesome to see. You're doing so well at such a young age. I feel as though I'm missing out on learning real modern marketing practices from seasoned leaders. Instead, I'm trying to make things work with a small amount of experience and schooling I've had. Any advice for a young professional who is seeking to grow and learn to be a marketing leader? Well, once again, congratulations on that. The second thing as well is you want to be very intentional about allocating, doesn't have to be huge amounts, but just small amounts to investing in the knowledge that you can acquire to help the company be successful. So whether that is with Facebook marketing or LinkedIn marketing, or a wider type of community marketing, couldn't be having school fundraisers at the hardware company just outside. It could be something where you're running a competition, or you're allowing charities to operate there, and you can leverage off their network of people. It's there's really a whole range of opportunities that are just wide open. So don't be afraid to educate yourself with small amounts of budget put towards that. Upskilling yourself in like Google ads, Facebook ads, content marketing, social media content posting, and so on. And don't ever be afraid to go and reach out to people as well. Okay, next question. I'm a marketing director. I was told I need to hire maybe 2 more people to build up my marketing team. What are your suggestions on that? First suggestion would be, look at what areas of marketing you are not strong in, and go and find someone who is strong in those areas, or people, or persons. Second thing as well is have a look at people that had genuine original thinkers as well, and people that have ability to think outside of the box. If you're looking to be more creative, if you're not a creative person, if you are a creative person, look at someone who's more technically savvy. Okay, next question that we've got here is, how can I get quality backlinks from my site? Hire a good freelancer. Ask them to show you what type of links or websites that they backlink onto. Check those backlinks, make sure that they are quality, and make sure that the links included are do follow links rather than spammy links. Look for local based websites where you can post the content, and don't be afraid to challenge them if the quality isn't good. Who are 3 business marketers whose YouTube channels you follow? Neil Patel, Stuart Gould, and Corey Hind. So I know Stuart and Corey personally because they're local marketers here in Tauranga, and Stuart's been a friend of mine for a while. Corey I've just met recently, but I discovered that he actually used to work with one of my old work colleagues, and he's great with content work. And Neil is a fantastic content person and a link builder, and he's very effective in communicating that in simple and easy to understand way. Okay, we are on to 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 questions down so far. Awesome, guys. Thank you very much for your questions. Really appreciate your input. Next question is, how can I collect emails for email marketing? You can run Facebook lead generation campaign. You can run LinkedIn ads. You could invite people in your LinkedIn and Facebook networks to sign up to your marketing list. You could have a pop-up show up on your website after someone's been there for 10 to 15 seconds. You could have it at the bottom of your blog. You could create a value offer, which people have to sign up to your email list to get. How do you find the best keywords for your post? Personally, I use Google Keyword Planner. To me, it's still a very effective tool. There are other platforms as well out there which are pretty easy to Google, and just have a look at keywords where there's low competition and high volume searches. And sometimes you might be surprised to find some of the keywords that you thought would be very competitive are actually not. Is blogging an effective way to generate clicks for affiliate marketing? Pass. What do you wish you knew before starting with email marketing? It's a very hard game to get actively involved in, and you have to really be determined to make it work and make it effective. There are many, many things that you don't even consider viable that are actually very effective, and things that you think are very effective that are actually fruitless. Excuse me. Next question is, how do you manage your links? I actually use a gentleman that's a freelancer who looks after my backlinking, because It's not something that I'm proficient with, and I have to be very careful with how I manage and allocate my time in the day, because it's very, it can be very sort of condensed. So yeah, I manage it just by sort of asking do follow links, DA and PA, domain authority and page authority above a certain level, and just making sure that it's a do follow link too. Hamid asks, is a website the most critical element in digital marketing? Not always, but it's certainly an important thing to have. It's very much like a business card was 30 years ago. And the reason for that is because people want to see what you're capable of. And your website is a very good tool to communicate that, even if you're not converting many people from it. Some people do use the website to great effect to get wonderful level of conversions, and I congratulate those people. Is it the most important one? For a lot of companies, yes, but not for everybody. Next question is, what are the basic roles of a marketing employee and how satisfying is the job? Wow, that's a very good question. It's very broad based. Basically, a marketing employee's goal is to effectively execute a way of communicating the brand to their target audience in a way that that audience is going to want to find out more about the brand or the product or the service. And if they can do that effectively, then I would say that they would be good at their job, and they would probably be very happy with the work that they do as well. Is the digital marketing agencies market oversaturated? It is oversaturated to the point where there's a lot of competitors. If you do good work, you can still stand out very easily. Next question is, can I run my marketing business from home? Of course you can. Next question, how useful is cold calling? It's better than doing nothing, and it's better than waiting for customers to come to you, especially if you're getting started out. There are some very helpful tools that you can use to minimize the time that you spend doing those types of calls. And a lot of that can just be through simple organic outreach to people as well. Next question is, how do you rebuild your client base? Okay, assess where you are, look at where your client base is most active on, what platforms, whether that's Google or social media or anything else, and create an offer that they can't resist. Okay, we're 70 questions in. Thank you so much, everybody. It's great to have you along. I'm going to go through the last 30 a bit more rapid fire, because I do have to get back to work later on, actually very soon. So let's crack on with it. If you're a content creator or blogger like me, what are the things that you find most challenging? Communicating a complex problem in a simple way. Why do most startups fail? That's quite a broad-based question, but it can probably be boiled down to three things. There's no market need, the marketing is not effective, and cash flow wasn't, people, like the company just ran out of money. What is effective marketing for a startup look like? It's the ability to recoup the initial cash investment which has been put into the company, and the ability to do it within a small period of time. Even with modern day startups, you need to have you need to have a plan of making some reasonable cash flow within a short period of time. Otherwise, the market is going to swallow you up, and the alligator is going to swallow you up, and you're not going to be able to recover. So you've got to be able to sellotape that alligator's jaws shut and keep on going, and you can do that with good consistent cash flow early on. What's the difference between a marketing assistant and a marketing manager? A marketing assistant implements based on instructions. A marketing manager develops a strategy and may implement it, or may have a team that implements it for them. Okay, next question is, how do I market on a tight budget? Very good question. I would say, let's say your budget's $20 a week, and I did a video on this a while ago. First thing I would do is do some SEO backlinking, do some lead generation ads on Facebook, hire someone who can compile a list of all the local media outlets, and then reach out to all of them to see if they're interested in speaking with you. And then after a while, repeat the process again. If you were doing business marketing tutorials, what would you make videos on? Good question. I would teach Facebook ads, email marketing, event management, or sort of marketing like business management software like Asana and Trello, and would also provide a bit more of an overview on writing effective copy from like start to finish, and show people what the different drafts look like from start to finish, so people can actually see what a process it is that you go through in order to get to your final ad copy, because it's not just a thing of opening up a new document and writing away. There are some sometimes pretty significant alterations that take place in that time. Next question is, MailChimp versus Klaviyo, what do you prefer? MailChimp. HubSpot versus, what's that one? I don't think it's spelled properly. HubSpot versus Salesforce, what do you prefer? Salesforce? No, I'm not actually a fan of Salesforce. I know a lot of people really enjoy it, but my preference is definitely HubSpot. I find them to be a lot more user-friendly, and it just feels like more of a family and community. Salesforce is very much feels like a conglomeration, like a conglomerate. Are you a fan of Microsoft Dynamics CRM system? Oh boy, no, I'm not. When I worked at one of my past jobs, they had just adopted the Microsoft CRM system, and it was a very drawn out and frustrating experience to try and make it functional. So I have no doubt it works for large companies. For the company I was at, I don't think it was the best fit. Who is the most effective Facebook ads trainer or coach that you know? I would say go and have a look at Sam Ovens's course, Consulting Accelerator. He does 30 hours worth of Facebook ads just in the course, and that in itself, in my mind, is worth the investment. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. 20 questions to go. Thanks very much, everybody, for tuning in. It's great to have you along. We're going to smash through these last 20 questions pretty quickly, so let's see how we go. Throw us your craziest programmatic ad idea. Let us know if you ever crowded any programmatic ad which was just jaw-dropping. Don't sink into, I would say something like don't sink into the ice, let your fire shine through with, said company. What's the best way to increase AdWords spend? Do it by look at doing it by between anywhere from 50 to 100% and monitor it rigorously for the 5 days afterwards. And if it's increasing your cost per acquisition or your cost per lead, then scale it back down. If it's performing even better than it was before, scale it up some more. How to grow a page on Twitter. Does generic advice work? Best thing to do on Twitter is to follow anywhere from 25 to 50 new profiles every day and send every new person who follows your page a good outreach offer. Can automation help your business grow? Yes, it can, and it can also save you time and money as well that you would have spent having to do that manually. What are some tools that help you organize and manage all of your digital marketing activities? Asana, Slack, and Google Keyword Planner, and Facebook, like Facebook ads. Next question. Thanks very much, guys, for all your questions. I really appreciate it. What are 3 tips you have for writing a good blog post? Okay, keyword is in the title, description, and body copy of the post. The content has a great photo, and it's at least 400 words long. How do I market land? Pass. Should I include a photo and a resume for a marketing job? Yes, that would go a long way to making it actually stand out, because most people still send the traditional CV. So definitely go for it. Who is a business marketer that you think has a very effective model? You know what? There's a guy called Mr. Beast on YouTube. He's a pretty prominent YouTuber. I've watched a couple of his videos recently and found him to be a very, very effective marketer, looking at what other people say. So go and check out Mr. Beast's videos and other. Probably got a website as well. I haven't visited it, but just his YouTube channel is very engaging and dynamic. Next question, and we're slowly drawing to a close. That's question 89. What kind of free marketing resources would you provide to an outside person? Simple guides and checklists, and possibly an ebook if you believe that it can provide value to a potential lead of yours. Okay. Oh, this one's more of a personal question. It is, does your significant other do any work in your business? Yes, she does. My fiance's name is Hannah, and she has done all the thumbnails on my YouTube channel, and she'll be doing the thumbnail for this YouTube video as well. And she also helps out with some of the other tasks which I can't get around to in a day. She looks after those for me. Okay, 9 questions to go. Thank you very much, everybody, for your questions. What's the difference between black hat and SEO and white hat SEO? The black hat sort of pretty much following all the bad practices of SEO that you really want to avoid, like no tomorrow. One of them is using content of like other websites and then chucking your domain name amongst that. That's really, really bad. Oversaturating descriptions with keywords that you want to rank for. So for example, if I said Stuart Macadam is a digital marketer, he has been a digital marketer all his life. The things he enjoys about being a digital marketer are so on and so on and so on. White hat, on the other hand, is focused more around creating quality content, and it's making sure that you're getting relevant links that are helpful to your readers, and also making sure that your images that you're sourcing are properly named and optimized, and there's just a natural flow in the keywords that you're using as well. Who is your favorite client to work with right now? Pass. I enjoy working with all my clients for different reasons. Some of them, they're all in different industries for a start, so it's impossible to judge just based on that. And secondly, as well, they're all at different stages of their business too. Some are growing out quite rapidly. Some are in maintenance mode. Some are looking from an outsider's perspective. So it's very unfair to make a judgment call on them just because they're all at different stages. And to be honest, I love working with all of them, and I don't think it's fair to play favorites. What is the most underutilized social media platform for businesses? It'd probably still be LinkedIn ads. What's the most overutilized social media platform for ads? This will be a curveball to you, but I really do believe it. Twitter ads I find are used quite a lot, and I don't think they're as effective as what they're made out to be. Would you use Pinterest for your business? Yes, I would. If it was successful and it was producing results, absolutely I would be on there. Next question is, who is one advertiser on social media that makes you laugh with their ads? You might have heard of him. There's a guy called John Penberthy, and he's a British guy with glasses. He kind of has a slight resemblance to Harry Potter, and he speaks really quickly. And I'll go give you a quick impression. He's like, if you give me just a couple of seconds, I'm going to show you how these stupid YouTube ads, just like mine, have generated me more than $110,000 over the last 30 days. And there's another one ad that he did where he's like hugging his friend. Like, I think his friend's name's Aaron. And he's just like, hey, Aaron, did you implement that YouTube strategy I gave you? He's like, no. He's like, what? I literally just showed you how to get every single high quality lead you could ask for. And she's like, sorry, John. I thought I could do it myself. And you know what we do with people like that? And he just pushes them into this little like river or creek or something. And that just made me laugh. And he had another video as well where he was talking about you know, you can feel like, YouTube advertising is something like this at times. Then it's got a photo of someone like crashing through the roof. So he's quite sort of savvy and creative with the ads that he does. And then there's like another one where he has like 3 clones of him. Like, usually if you ask, people like me, you're skeptical about us when he's pitching you all these great sales. I've only seen his webinar once, but I found it very persuasive. And if I was looking to go more along that type of that channel of advertising, I probably would have bought his course, just on the fact that he did something that was so incredibly unique and different. And even now, I consistently find him bombarding my pre-YouTube watchers with his ads. Next question is, what platform is your website on? Wix. What website platform do your clients prefer? WordPress. Okay, 2 questions to go. Thanks very much, everybody. We're almost there at the end, hour and 28 minutes later. So thanks very much for tuning in. And we see got AG Brawl Stars. Thank you very much for tuning in. We've only got 2 questions to go. So if you have got a question you'd like me to answer, feel free to pop it into the comments section below. And I'd be more than happy to make that the last question of the day if you like. So second to last question is, how does content marketing help you reach more people? And that's a really good question. Main reason it helps you reach more people is because everybody on Google is so many Google searches every single day, and people are looking and including key search phrases and content in their searches, and they're looking for answers to like big problems that they've got. And the biggest thing that you want to have is a way to communicate that with people, and content is very often the way of doing that, whether that's on a fixed website page, whether it's on a blog, whether it's within social media. So that would be my suggestion. Final question today is, I see there's nothing from AG Brawl Stars at the moment. So unfortunately, you've missed out on chance of getting the last question. If you were to hire someone tomorrow, what would be the most important questions you could ask them? That is the best possible way to finish, actually, I would think. First question I would ask them is, if you are given a budget of $1,000, how would you spend it, and how would you measure success? That would be one of the first questions I'd ask. Second question I would ask is, what is the most effective way of marketing, and why do you think it's the most effective way? Third question is, what is an effective form of advertising that not a lot of people are using at the moment that you think can be utilized right now? And the final question I would ask them is, how soon are you available to start, and how open are you to having your ideas challenged? Because those answers right there will tell you a lot about that person and their ability to think and take feedback. So I'm going to wrap it up there, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope you found this Q&A incredibly helpful. That was 100 questions right there. It did take a while to get there. My mouth is very sore right now from talking so much. I'm not used to talking so much. And even just sitting down so much as well. Feel like I need to go for a run or go to the gym now. But thank you so much for tuning in. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe to my channel. I do Q&As like this every week, and also have pointers and other videos and tips and tricks as well as to how you can grow your business with online digital marketing. So thanks very much, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.